I want to welcome everybody to the April 4th, 2023 meeting at 6 o'clock. I'd like to call this meeting to order if I can get approval of the agenda at this time.
So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Well, we're honored tonight to have John Haney. He's our Jones County Sheriff's Department chaplain. You're going to lead us tonight and set us in the right direction.
Let me invite you to stand as we pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would you join me as we pray together? The psalmist says, I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence does my help come. It comes from the Lord who made the heavens and the earth. Oh God, we do lift up our eyes tonight because we need strength and help. We need your presence. We thank you, Father, for our community and for Jones County. Lord, a wonderful place to live. And Lord, we want to keep it that way. Lord, we pray. We pray for our young people. We pray for our law enforcement, that they may keep drugs off the streets and crime and keep us crime-free in this county. We pray for the commissioners this evening. Lord, give them some smarts and some wisdom and a little bit of discernment. And Lord, may we all be good stewards of what belongs to others. But Lord, help and guide and direct them. Lord, I know that because I've been there, not always is it a thankful job. Sometimes, Lord, there's more criticism than there is praise. But Lord, I thank you for what these men and women do on our behalf to provide for us a good place to live and to raise our children and to be with our families. Lord, may your blessings be upon this meeting tonight. Guide and direct everything that they do. And Lord, may it always be in accordance to your will. In Jesus we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much. All right.
Mine in the car too.
Okay. Okay, get Commissioner Bone on, so we'll continue on. All right, tonight we're going to start a planning and zoning. We're planning and zoning, and if anybody's here in opposition on this request, you'll get an opportunity to speak. But tonight we're hearing Samuel Gordon Green III request a conditional use to allow a private recreation campground. Properties at 371 Cheehaw consists of 20 plus or minus acres. Currently zoned Ag 1. Mr. Green, if you come up and tell the board a little bit about what you want to do, and then we'll have anybody that wants to come up and ask questions after you.
Sounds good. Thank you. Real simply, what I'm looking, the purpose of this is to allow people to stay in RVs and to get power to be able to supply them. I have friends that are retiring. They have RVs and would like to kind of meet up, and I'd like to provide a place for them. This is not a business. It's not a public request. This is not going to have signs, and this is not going to have any of those sort of things for people to stop in off the road anywhere to come in and out, that sort of thing. It's strictly for friends and family. And that's why it's called private. So it won't be open to the public at all. We don't want to change the zoning. We love where we live out on the farm. We don't want to change any of that. And frankly, this is to be placed next to our home. And my wife said bad things will happen to me if I open it up and let people stay in RVs next to our home. So that's not going to happen. And in fact, we have plenty of land. If we really wanted to put a public in, we could put it somewhere else. But that's not the case at all. We don't have any interest in that whatsoever. It's about 700 feet to the nearest neighbor, and the nearest road is the Cheehaw Trail. It's not visible from the road where we're going to put this. There's trees between that and the road, so it's minimal disturbance. I own the property around it, so that's not an issue. And 90% of the time it'll be vacant because it's just for these folks. They travel to go see their family and friends in different places, stop by for 2 or 3 days, and then go to the next place. And there's some minor benefit to Jones County because they restock, groceries and stuff like that, or if they go out to eat with us, then there's some benefit there. Not big, but bottom line, the only reason I'm here is because there is a law against, a rule against staying in an RV, and to get a permit, Mr. Petrowski tells me I need to have a conditional use for a campground, is what they call it. So that's really the bottom line. If there's any questions, I'd be glad to answer.
Any questions for Mr. Green?
Mine would have been more.
Oh, we got
Commissioner Vaughn.
Commissioner Vaughn with us now. Welcome, Commissioner Vaughn.
Good evening.
We can hear you.
Thank you.
I can't hear Daylight a lot of time. I can hear you for some reason.
T-Mobile.
T-Mobile.
I call it trash mobile.
Trash mobile. Okay. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Chairman, the only question I would have had was probably for Tim, and we can just make it a part of the motion if we need to. But it would be, he wants it private now, but if he did intend on going it public at a later point, would it need another vote for a permanent use, or would a conditional use?
Well,
need to change?
the request, it was approved by Planning and Zoning 4-0 with the, if you'll look on page 9, there was a letter that Mr. Green wrote, and you can refer to that, and it would be based on conditional use, based on all this criteria, and one of it's private use only. You want to look at it?
Let's see the letter. I saw the report from P&Z.
It's on
Right,
page,
stuff dated February 15th.
page 9.
Yes, dated February 15th.
If I went on to the next page, I would have seen it, wouldn't I?
So just out of curiosity, how many units will you prepare the space for?
Normally there'd probably be 1 or 2, but as far as the power and so forth, I'd probably be up to 15 or 20, but that would be like once a year.
Do you have to, because I don't see it in your plan, do you have to put out a septic tank for,
I talked to Ms. Grantham over there at the Health Department, and I'm not asking for that at this point. These RVs are self-contained, they have tanks, and there are 2 places in Forsyth, for instance, that you can dump these tanks. If we decided to do that, if there is an interest in that, then she has explained what would have to happen, go through the Health Department to get that approved, put in a dump station, which would be a septic tank.
Right.
Where we live, there's no sewer.
okay.
But it'd be a separate septic tank system that would be specifically for that.
Is there any more questions for Mr. Green before we ask for anybody opposed for this? If none, anybody opposed to this request like to come forward? Don't want to oppose? Mr. Kitchen, is this your,
Yeah. Motion to approve the conditional use to allow a private recreational vehicle campground,
Second?
Subject,
subject to conditions in the recommendation specified in the applicant's letter.
Second?
second? Any more discussion? None, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it, thank you. All right, we move on to board appointments for our River Edge Community Service Board. Mr. Risner and I met with the current sitting chairman and who was the director? River Edge, and they explained to us that we currently have an at-large position and a appointed position, but the at-large position is based on the chairman's location, which now the chairman's located in Bibb County. So they said that's why our extra at-large position is being moved to Bibb. So we're down to 1. And I think the current one is Alex Smith, who's filling in for Thad Childs. Now, he and I was playing phone tag, and I haven't talked to him directly, but that was the reason for us losing a slot with the River Edge Community Board.
I'm still not clear on that, Chairman. I know we talked about it, but I'm still not clear on how we could lose and that. So their bylaws has to have their positions in there.
Their-
Chairman, 2 at-large positions, county seats.
Right. Their bylaw said the chairman will be residing in whatever county that
So they
chair-
need to fill a chairman's position. They don't need to take our bylaw, our
That's
at-large
right.
position.
Their chairman's position's been filled by a gentleman that I'm wasn't a doctor, he worked with you at Board of Education, retired.
I can't remember what it's.
I'm bad on names,
But how does that affect our,
because he's now the sitting chairman,
okay?
so,
So they just filled a vacant position. We still have an at-large and a
no,
county seat.
he's now the at-large, but the at-large transfers to the Bibb County, not Jones.
So we understand what you're saying. Wherever the chairman resides, that's who
The
gets the
at-large
at-large.
position.
That at-large
goes to
seat
them.
goes to that county.
So we're only,
We're just
worst
filling-
case scenario, we
got-
only have one.
We've got one. Currently, Alex Smith is the at-large, but they explained through training, whatever when Thad retired, Alex is, they're wanting to fill Alex as that position, which will be our appointed position. That makes sense.
Yeah, so the chairman position resigned his position. And they filled it with a Bibb County resident.
That's correct.
And now Bibb County gets our at-large position, and they get a county position too.
Yeah, just like
So
we
they
had,
get 3 and we get 1.
got, I don't know, how many
I
they,
don't know how many are on the board total.
Well, right now, we have 2, an at-large and a Jones County seat. But the way this is moving, one of our seats is being moved to Bibb County because of location of the chairman. So that means that they're gonna have the chairman position, the at-large position, and the Bibb County seat. And Jones County's gonna have 1 seat.
I think what I understood from them was that that there's not a designated position for the chairman. That usually that the chairman sits in one of those at-large spots. And so all I could gather from that was that the chairman is selected by the board, that there's not a specific, there's not a designated seat for the chairman, if that makes sense.
question. How many members sit on this board? Out of the 4 counties it represents, how many members?
8, what I see online.
Okay.
8. So we're missing 2. We're missing
So
one.
I just think we need more explanation, Chairman, because so when Thad left, he left a Jones County seat vacant. I don't think they can take that from us. Mr. Smith is an at-large position. So they asked us to swap him from an at-large position to the county seat, and we denied. Now, all of a sudden, it just seems funny to me, now all of a sudden, that seat is going away. Not eligible for a Jones County resident. I mean, if this is what we're being asked, I'm gonna vote no tonight, but if it's not time sensitive, I would ask for their clarification.
Okay, well, I think because, you said there's how many seats for,
There's 8, a Macon Bibb, member at large, Macon Bibb, Twigs, Monroe, Macon Bibb. The 4 Macon Bibbs, 2 Monroes, 1 Twigs, and member at large. According to this.
And so with that, if we lose our at-large, we don't have a seat.
well, we need to ask more questions.
I agree,
He
Chairman.
did say he would sit down and meet with the board, so I think what we need to do is see if we can take him up on that, and,
Oh, a copy of their bylaws would be great.
okay, that'd be fine, whatever. If we can get a motion to postpone this for another meeting.
Motion to postpone to the next meeting, Chairman.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you, Wendy. You're welcome. I'm sorry, I kind of forgot you, but you're sitting right beside me now, so I know where you're at.
Okay.
All right, if we move forward, consent agenda and approval for the minutes, we had the third Tuesday, March 21st. If y'all have had an opportunity to review the minutes and see no problem with them, I entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Wood, second with,
Second.
we've got Daylon beat you on the second, Ms. Vaughn.
Okay.
Any discussion, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. We have a visitor night, Ms. Gardner, you want to talk to us about Whitaker Road and some issues? Just introduce yourself and let us know, come forward to introduce yourself and let us know where you reside at.
My name is Sandra Whitaker,
Hello.
and I live at 180 Whitaker Road. Mr. Weiner, Mr. Kitchens, Mr. Wood, Mr. Martin. My name is Sandra Gardner, and I live at 180 Whitaker Road. I would like to begin by saying thank you for letting us speak. I also would like to reiterate your job description established by the committee As established by the Georgia Constitution and the official code of Georgia, county commissioners in this state, including Fayette County, are charged with the responsibility of providing a system of local government services designed to protect the health, safety, and welfare of their citizens. The issues that need to be addressed on Whitaker Road have serious concerns, and we're here as a group present, along with the signatures on a petition that I have, which I will give to y'all a copy after. The issues are as follows: homes with water entering the crawl spaces, property damage due to flooding, and standing water, flowing water in many yard areas. Repair to damaged culverts on county roadway shoulders, which relieve drainage of ditches and to pass water under a road at natural stream crossings. Repair underflow piping for proper water displacement. About half of us are senior citizens, and it is very scary and stressful when it floods. We have to hire and pay someone to help clean the yards up afterwards, and we live on a fixed income. The water has already done exterior damage to 5 houses that I know of. There is mold and mildew on my she shed, as well as the Jordan's home. Flower beds have been destroyed in front yards, as well as water under house next door to me. They are both over 80 years old and have to pay someone to repair their yard, as well as the water has washed away around their foundation. In fact, they have already paid out over $700 for repairs caused by the water. Up to 5 years ago, we didn't have this trouble. That is the pipe that Preston Hawkins had put in. Mr. Hawkins met with the engineer and drew up the plans and said it needed to be done or our houses were going to be destroyed. It's supposed to divert and keep the water away from us. Diversion was in 2006. The pipe was laid, and after 2012, the river started again. Now we have a river, and it is eroding everything. The rains are going to get worse, and then we are going to do what we're going to have is another disaster, if not worse. The weather may be after dawn, however, the property was zoned residential by the county, and this water has come through repeatedly, and it is the county's responsibility to protect us from this happening to our property and our homes. It is the county's job to route the water so that we will be safe. You zoned it residential, the county permitted it. I've talked to several people, and it was told that really no houses should have been built there because it was just a swamp. Let me ask you all this. How would you feel if it were your home? If this were your neighborhood, your community, if it was your mother, your children, your family? What would your expectations be from your county? I figured that in the last 18 years, and that's how long I have lived on Whitaker Road, just my street alone has paid over $1 million in taxes. I was listening to the meeting of March the 21st, where Daylon Martin stated that we could find the money to do almost anything in our county. The money is there, the funds can be found, so why is my home, my neighbors' homes, being destroyed because of neglect on y'all's part, or the county's part? I think it would be cheaper to fix the problem than to have to buy 3 or 4 houses. I'm praying that you all will put your hands and your heads, not your hands, but your heads and your hearts together and support us by fixing our street the right way that it needs to be fixed. We love our street, and we love our neighbors, and we hope that our county commissioners will agree with us that the county needs to step up and fix the problem once and for all. Thank you all for your patience. I have, I think, Mr. Ryder, I sent you videos.
Yes, ma'am.
I've got more, but that are bad.
Yes.
They're really bad.
I went, it's one of those things, I was actually down that road that day when it was raining, because I had to drop off some paperwork, and I saw now, I did receive, when you called me originally, I had within, I think, 5 minutes, Ms. Leslie called you about, that we're working on it, and then
Right.
and I've got, on my county phone, I had the pictures on it. I actually went yesterday while it was raining, just to, observe, see what the water was doing, and then came back, looked at the video again. I was trying to identify where these were, because one of the pictures on here had the roadway completely flooded over, but that was Confederate Drive.
The first one was, I sent you, let me show you, I've got
Okay.
5 sets for each one of y'all.
Okay.
And I'll explain some
Sure.
of them, I think. Oops. And I've dated these. I took the time to go have them made and dated them.
Thank you.
Pushing the button? Yes, on the microphone. On the microphone. There's the set.
That's Confederate. Oh, my God.
Thank you, ma'am.
And this one.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that, let's see, let me pull it up. On the first set, okay, the first one, Mr. Widener, is the one that's from Confederate coming our way. That's the first one.
Right.
And then the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The next 5 is my backyard.
You're the second house up second from the end, or you're at that?
No, it's Corey Jordan, and then it's a new couple, and then it's the Starks, and then it's let me see, the Starks, and then it's James. Forgot their name. And Hughley, and then it's me.
Okay. There's about 5 houses right there that are,
There's 5 exactly.
Yeah,
There is
they're
5
kinda
houses.
they're in the natural drain of the water from, what's the road above us? I called it earlier, Confederate World, Country World.
Right
You got Country
behind.
World, which you're getting water from them through the woods, through this natural drain on down to,
But my backyard, I mean, it's awful.
Right.
And then the next picture is the yard, my next door neighbor's yard.
Yes, sir.
And it's the water, you can see at the top of that picture, it's coming down I forgot their names. Jolene, what's Jolene's last? I can't remember. Anyway, it's Jolene, and then it's the next house, and then it's my house. So it's coming down my yard, my backyard. And then the next picture, the next 3 pictures are my next door neighbors. You see all the debris up against their fence is the first one. And then those next 2 with the shovel is the edge of their home, where Mr. Mullins, Bruce Mullins, who is a neighbor, said he could stick his, and he's a big man, he could stick his whole leg in there. And that's just, and then the next one is Brian Parker, Nicole and Brian Parker, 142, where he has gone in there and put stuff, but it's completely almost washed it. And then Mr. Widener, not the next one, but the next 2 is where that hole that is water is where the main drainage, the diversion that's supposed to be, and you see it's never been cleaned out.
right. And I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
I've talked with, as far as the cleanage, you just give me some history on why we had that storm drain there, because I literally was looking on the lids on the 3 concrete collection areas
Yes.
for dates, because anytime they put in had a date. And I told you one was, I don't know why, one didn't have anything on it, but the other 2 had the 2005, so that.
Okay, 5 then. I
Yeah,
was thinking it was
2005, so-
2006, but it's
Yeah.
5.
Well,
And
5
then,
or 6, but whenever, it could have been a manufactured
Right.
at 5, but, yes, those need to be, and I've already talked with John, yeah, we need to get somebody, because, I mean, you had pictures of them on there, I mean, there was beer cans, there's a little bit of everything, and there's no telling. when
it's no
stopped
telling
at.
if there's, could be a bear down there, Dad, and
Right.
plugging, I mean, you know.
Yeah.
But the next one is my she shed with the mold at the bottom.
Right.
And then the last 4 pictures is heartbreaking because the first 2 are in 2020 and then 2018. And if you'll notice that second to the last picture of 2018, my neighbor's air condition and everything is backed up to where, you know, there's nowhere to go except come down into my yard. And that's the year that they had built a wall, and it just took it away.
Like the-
So anyway,
You confirmed the 5 houses right there are actually the natural
Exactly.
drain from Country World coming through there. So you've got a natural drain that goes through there, and if you go further, it actually gets into a bigger creek that goes up under Whitaker that feeds the culvert that you give us a picture on that actually, I think, John, you drove across it. Because, and that culvert's not that old, but the backyards is, I mean, this backyard picture you got is actually a natural drain. Now, I counted 5 culverts that needed, somebody's run over the ends of them and mashed them down, and they're about 3/4 capacity. So yes, we can go in there and straighten those up.
Yeah.
And I talked with John, I was gonna get with Jason, give him a heads up that, yeah, we need to get somebody in there on that, the diversion that, Commissioner Hawkins had put in there and clean it out. And there's no telling, it
Well,
could be a bear now. I don't know if there's bears
well,
in
I
there.
talked to Parker. What's his first name? Brian Parker. And he said that usually you get like a fire truck in there and those lids are lifted up and they're cleaned out with the water. I think y'all are, the water
More
from the
vacuum
fire truck is.
Really, vacuum truck.
He'll have a
Yeah,
vacuum-
but it's no telling what's in there.
He'll get a vacuum truck to go ahead and clean it out. We'll go in there, and like I said, there's 5 culverts. Quickest way to do it is just get a inexpensive car jack and just, jack the culverts back open, because it's, nice thing about it, you sent me great videos, because I was able to,
Well, there's a couple more that are really good that I have, but I mean,
Sure. But I looked at the videos, and then yesterday, while it was raining, went back and was IDing. I could identify each culvert that wasn't quite taking what it needed to be. Some areas was fine, and you had one neighbor's covered up with culvert, so that you're getting run off, I think, up toward the top. One of the neighbors covered the culvert up, put a culvert in, underground culvert, which kind of cuts down on the ability of that ditch to carry more water, but it turns more water onto the road and back into the ditch. But needless to say, the history you just give us about, Commissioner Hawkins having that done, because I asked John, and John said he didn't know anything about it, but, because it's before his time, but we know we've got to fix it.
Yeah, it was so bad back then.
Right.
It was awful, and he said it should, it's got to be fixed, because if you don't, our homes are destroyed.
But as far as, you said something about the act of God, yeah, this county got hit that day, and I cannot tell you, how many roads do you think we had that were underwater?
A lot.
Unreal.
At one point, I think we had 37 closed, didn't we, at one
At one
point?
point. That's
So-
just,
Yeah,
we
when
had-
it involves your homes, though, and
Yeah,
it's
right.
destroying your homes, and there's mold. Corey Jordan down at the very end is the one that his yards are still, you can't walk in them. And he's had mold and mildew 3 times, he said, and the cover that's in the basement, I think he said he's had to replace it. He's got 2 sunk pumps down there. So it's awful. It is just, it's very sad. Yeah,
on the road,
Well-
we can fix the road. Go ahead.
appreciate
I was
it.
going to add, these pictures such as this, you can apply to any district in the county. I know District 2 has plenty of these issues. I've talked with Jason, and we do have the new Mini X with the rubber tracks that can go on pavement, doesn't tear up the pavement. And I could anticipate, and Jason's talked about it too, it would be a good idea to have a crew doing ditch maintenance, culvert maintenance, preemptively fixing issues before we have these massive rain events, even though roads still may go underwater, but the water's going to flow through an open pipe, much better than a closed or trashed filled pipe. But I would imagine if that new mini-X that was purchased last year was used strictly on ditches, we'd probably be replacing it in just a few years with all the ditches across all 4 districts in this county being cleaned. And it would not be a convenience center packing trash or any other type thing. It would be strictly a ditch cleaning machine with a crew attached to it. That's something to think about for the future, and maybe have a work session on it after we make, some adjustments later down the road, and maybe diversify into one crew that does that.
Commissioner, this is your back door. Any comments?
I remember going down there years ago, and they came out and they cleaned part of it, right? Because I remember going over to your house, and then we had them clean out at least that section. At least I think I remember that on the right side of the road. Do you remember them
On
coming?
the right side of the road,
Coming towards your house.
coming towards my house on the right side.
Yeah, so that'll be on Bruce Mullen's side.
Oh, you're at the other end where Bruce is.
Right.
Okay.
So they came all the way up to where that pipe went under
That's
the road.
where the pipe starts and goes like 200 feet
Right.
to where the diversion is.
Because I remember, John, I remember there was some cleanup over there, but obviously what we just experienced is way more than that would have handled.
It's
Yeah.
just not been, I mean, for all these years, we've been suffering
Yeah.
with the flood. I mean, it just goes, there's nowhere for it to go because it's not been
Right.
cleaned out. And so it's just, we're getting the blunt of it. And it's ruining our air conditioned units, and I've
So,
got
Chairman-
mold and everything.
What we can do immediately, I guess, is give direction for, I had down here to clean out the ditches, clean out the drains, and then repair the culverts that have the damaged tops on them, because without full capacity for it to flow through there, it's going to stop up. That's where you're going to get the backup, then the leaves, and then it just backs on up into the
Well,
yard.
the main thing is cleaning right where that diversion is. And when Preston did that, we didn't have any problem for many years. And then it started again because it was backing up. And like I say, I don't know could be big logs, it's no telling what's, it's a long pipe, but it's got those 3 concrete, I don't know what you call them, that can be that can be lifted up and shoot the water through there and get
That's why
Get it
they're there for
cleaned out.
clean because that, and there's no telling. Like I say, it could be a bear in there.
That's
So we'll let
right.
you know if we
That's
see
right.
one.
I'm gonna stay in my house when you do that.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate
Thank
y'all
you.
very much, and these are the petitions. Some of them haven't signed it because I couldn't get a hold of them, but this is
Thank you.
most of them.
Okay. That's for the,
All right, thank you, ma'am. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
G, did you want to say anything?
I'll do the open communication, right? If I want to speak, you guys?
yeah, come on, you're part of Whitaker. If you came here for
He's
Whitaker,
part of
go
what?
ahead.
Yes, he's
Sure,
part of
go ahead.
Whitaker. Do you want me to sit down or stay here?
You're fine. You're a guest of Ms. Gardner.
Okay.
You can stay with me, because I my name, I
Thank you
got
for
me
your
involved.
services.
State
I'm,
your name and address for the record if you don't mind.
Gerard Charles, and I'm at 134 Whitaker Road. And we purchased this property a few years ago from our neighbor across the street, Orrin, and it's a beautiful street. I love Jones County. I'm here from California, which everybody makes fun of me, which is fine. We bought this property. We have an autistic grandson. We're going to give the house to him. Here's my picture real quick. And I made contact with the public works director. He's going to clean my ditch out, because this is actually the county property. I'm just retired now from the government after 35 years. So
Yeah, well, thank you for your services. I'm looking at your hat.
And I go out there and pull weeds all day, chase ants, so I've got time to go ahead and.
Thank you.
Your neighbor's right above you, and they put the,
Oh, man, it's just in the river in my backyard from that.
I saw this a while ago. I saw Ms. Gardner. I figured that when we I said, I bet that's Ms. Gardner right there when we rode through
It
there.
was.
Because I was trying to ID all the pictures on my phone, but,
She did a great job with that. As we know, storms are storms, and will be, but if you do get the property cleaned out and that's all county property that you guys are looking at
Sure.
there. So, as time goes, like he says, he has 300 miles of ditches to repair in this county. Ours is a residential street, so it's a little more important to these older folks than some of the other areas. But no, it's going to always be a problem in this county or all counties with ditches. you know, we just don't have it, so.
We thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, you did a
You're
great job,
welcome.
young
We'll
lady.
give you a heads up as soon as all the work's been done.
All right.
We'll give you a heads
I
up and let
appreciate
you know.
it.
How's that?
Everybody on the street appreciates it,
All right.
because we're
Myself or
desperate.
Commissioner Martin or somebody on the staff will give you a call and say, all right, we've got everything cleaned out. And, you know.
Oh, she's out there watching.
And we've
I
got,
will.
we've also got a clean out that, county cleanup that, a lot of that stuff in that pipe I saw was trash. So, I mean, it's, Ms. Vaughn, I don't know if you care or not, but you want to advertise your, for District 4?
Who does the, my cleanup, the signs?
I'm talking about, this is a countywide cleanup. We have a competition.
Yeah.
Oh, this is our reigning champion for our cleanup day for the county, where we go out and get, each district competes to see who can get the most trash.
Very good.
Our past champion is, this is our current champion.
Now, there are signs on our street. I have one posted in front of my house that a gentleman does to clean up our neighborhood.
Yes.
$1,000. We walk our street and pick up trash constantly.
It's May 22nd.
May 22nd, okay.
On that day, you get your whole neighborhood out.
Yeah,
It's
do
May
that.
22nd. We wrote.
And bring it to great.
Commissioner Martin needs all the help he can get as far as, on.
That's a
I helped Commissioner Martin last year and ended up cutting my hand real bad.
May 22nd's on a Monday?
Yeah, let her go with it.
Quiet, you guys. Don't.
You can see the competition going on. He's about determined he's going to show up and get her this time. But we do appreciate you.
Very good.
We'll be in touch.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Mr. Stark, you got some fire hydrants you want to talk about?
Yes, sir. So we put this hydrant bid back out with more. The first time we did it, we were asking for one specific brand of hydrant. This time we went to three different types that we have throughout our system, trying to find a standard in the future. We received 3 different quotes. The lowest bidder was from Macon Supply at $37,092.90. The middle one was just a few $1,000s more, and the third highest was double that one. So I would recommend going with the lowest bidder for Macon Supply for these hydrants.
I hate to ask how much more is this versus the first time we bid these things out. Just give them a ballpark, because we're averaging 40% increase across the board on projects.
It's about $2,000 or $3,000 more from just a few months ago.
Yep.
So it's already.
Yep, that's the problem we're having, is keeping up with the rising cost of doing business. Any questions for Mr. Stark?
This is not a normal budget line item.
This is the budget last year when I came up. I don't know exactly what it's called for. It was
Just a special request during the
special
budget
request,
process.
But
that
we
was
approved
yeah.
then, right?
yes.
It's-
It was approved for $35,000 is what I asked for that, and this ran up to $37,000. But again, that was 9 months ago.
Okay. That's all that, the finances sign off on that, so we're in the budget. I entertain a motion to go forward, or what do y'all want to do?
Motion to approve with the lowest bid for Macon Supply for the fire hydrants.
Second.
Second, any discussion? If there's none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right, ayes have it. Tim, you want to talk to us about the industrial park sewer?
You know, we've discussed this a few times about going back to GFA for some additional funding to finish the industrial park. The force main last bid was around 4.55 million. We have around 1.4 million in GFA, existing GFA money, and a grant from One Georgia. So we need somewhere in the neighborhood of 3.2 to finish the project out.
Any questions for Tim? This is one of the many projects that's been started over the years and hadn't been finished.
It's the industrial park. Of course, motion to authorize GFA application for the industrial park sewer.
Second.
Second, any more discussion? If none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. All right, and authorized invitation to bid for this sewer project.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Any more discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jim. Mr. Risner, you want to talk about the surplus equipment? We got any questions, we can call John up there.
That sounds good. So I think there was some discussion maybe last time about motor graders, and John and I have talked some about this, and there was some discussion during the budget process last year. So we have, there was an interest in taking maybe two of our existing motor graders, having them completely rebuilt and continuing to use them. We've got 6 motor graders currently. There was some discussion at that time of taking some of those and surplusing them, selling them, using the proceeds from that sale to fund a rebuild or two, just depending on how much we could get for those motor graders. So you've got the list there in front of you. The 6 we have currently. We typically use 2 at a time, maybe, and.
At one time, we were using 4, but now it's just 2. One on the south end, one on the north end.
Just out of curiosity, why did we stop using 4?
Well, some of them left and hadn't been replaced.
Help,
Far as
labor.
operator shortage, basically.
Yeah.
Because it's, from my recollection, we still have the same number of dirt roads and all the other stuff that,
We do.
okay.
I traveled some dirt roads today, and I saw the need for motor graders to tag team on these roads, and the need hasn't diminished on road maintenance. So we need tag team and graders on these roads. Get them.
And the nice thing about Caterpillar is they do have a rebuild program, and am I correct? They issue a new serial number so that any you can use your SPLOST dollars to if it's out. If you've got a line item for your public works, because they'll take this machine completely, revamp it, and with a new serial number, then you can use SPLOST dollars. And the fact that CAT has a rebuild program and you don't want the new stuff because it ain't pretty. You need to stay away from it.
So just for clarification, we're going to operate 4 of them, right? East, west, north, south?
How many you talking about? You talking about building 2 to start with?
Well, I like to get 1 done.
Okay. For right now?
Yeah.
What's the turnaround time, or do we know the approximate turnaround time coming out of it?
I mean, a year ago, they probably said maybe 6 months, but I don't know now.
Okay.
They've been trying to get more.
Komatsu's got an issue, and is it John Deere's got an issue? Those 2 got the issue?
The John Deere's still running. I mean, we use it if we have to.
So all these are surplus ones, or these are ones you run now too?
These are ones. we
This is
run.
all you
That's
have?
all we have.
So what you had surplus
I mean,
to?
surplus is the Komatsu and the John Deere.
That's the ones you were gonna number 1283 and 9459 were the ones you were gonna surplus and use the proceeds to rebuild another one.
That way everything's interchangeable that way too.
Huh?
That way everything's interchangeable on
Yeah.
the 4 cats.
So we'll have all cats and rebuild.
Well, the 3 cats.
There's 4 cats on the
other
list.
one is a 12M. This is the newest one we got.
Okay.
Do we
So-
need to, does the John Deere give any trouble? Or do we need to keep that as a spare?
It's just slow.
It's just
I
slow.
mean, we use it from time to time.
Okay.
But they got 4 with
Right.
2 operators? Pretty much, isn't it? We have a request for surplus and 2 units. Mr. Board's with.
We still have, back on the personnel, we still have 2 openings for motor grader drivers.
We're trying to fill them.
Okay.
We've been trying.
That's a rarity. I mean, it's,
It's just hard to find anybody
as much.
for what, the county's paid.
So what does the pay need to be, John?
Uh,
What does the pay need to be to attract motor grader drivers?
Probably around $20 an hour,
And what do we currently pay?
maybe around 15.
not enough.
17.
It's a skilled job.
Oh, yeah.
I
it's-
believe that. I just don't understand. So my question for him, as a department head, you got to come advocate for that money. I don't know until you tell me, right? So when you tell me, then I can help you. If we need $20, that's something that you have a conversation with HR, we bring it in, and we get the number up so we can attract people to the job. Because we got dirt roads.
I'm all for sending someone, an individual, to go to school to learn, have them trained.
All right. What's the board want to do?
We need 2 people at $20 an hour.
No, we're not talking about, we're talking about motor graders. We got 2 motor graders.
I don't want to buy a motor grader if I don't have an operator. Like, I don't understand that part. But if you're asking me, like,
Surplus 2, rebuild 1. That way we've got one of the older ones that's,
we have 4 right now, right?
That's
one's having,
six.
the one he's wanting to rebuild's got a lot of issues, but it can be rebuilt.
Well, we got 3 of them I want to get rebuilt.
Right. He's want to do 9-1 right
I
now.
went from 1 to 3, John. You said
Well, I
1
just want to get one done.
Right now.
You went from 1 to 3.
Because these things are old and they got a lot of hours on them. They got like 14,000 hours on them.
So in budget, we go back to, we were talking about getting rid of 2 and rebuilding 1 for now. And that's what he's got to have. Right?
Yep.
Motion to get to surplus 2 of them and rebuild 1, Chairman, with the knowledge that we're going to revisit the $20 an hour driver shortage.
Commissioner Martin, you want to second that since you got it started?
I think we need a second.
Oh, we got a second. Thank you, Commissioner Vaughn. Any more discussion?
So we're going to be surplusing the Komatsu and the older John Deere.
That's correct.
Okay. All right.
All right. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Adios míos.
Ayes have it. Ms. Wagner, we got a beer and wine license to look at.
We received application for the 49 Chevron Mini Mart on Milledgeville Road, and the background came back fine, and Jason reviewed it, and I recommend approval.
Okay, if there's no question for Ms. Wagner, we're entertained. This is this Commissioner Bones? 49, no, it's Commissioner Martin's. Is this yours?
I was looking at Old Clinton Road. Is that Old Club Road?
Chevron 49-minute market.
Yep. On 49, right? Motion to approve.
We have a motion, we have a second. We have a second, Commissioner Kitchen. Any more discussion? None, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right, ayes have it. Mr. Resner, you asked that we postpone or the courthouse annex painting.
That's correct. The DDA is going to meet tomorrow, and then after that, they'll be able to give us a dollar amount that they'd be able to contribute to the project. And so you'd have that so that you could make a decision on whether to move forward with it.
And that doesn't hold up our current project, does it?
I don't think it will. I'll confirm that with Warren Associates, but yeah,
I didn't want
I
them
think we'll
to
be fine.
have to remobilize, because it's not a large amount.
Right.
I can get a motion to postpone pending.
Motion to postpone courthouse annex painting pending DEA discussions.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? What's the,
I was asking what the square footage of the building was.
Oh.
Does anybody know that?
Mr. Resner, you want to start off on our Union Hill Church Road replacement?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. So in your package, you've got the letter from GDOT where they commit to paying 70% of the hard construction costs there. They have asked that we go ahead and bid the project out. We'll submit the low bid information along with the application. These are LMIG funds in addition to what we typically get. And so they have approved that. The balance left after that will be, based on Tim's estimate, is about $298. And so I would ask the board to approve moving forward with the project and committing $298,945 out of the capital reserve to pay for our portion of it.
Any questions for Mr. Resner or Mr. Ingram before we go forward? Commissioner Wood, this is your back door.
Yes, if it's in order for a motion, I'd like to make a motion to move forward with the project and allocate the $298,945 of capital reserves monies for this project.
Second. Any more discussion? None, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Commissioner Bone? There you go. All right. Thank you, Tim. Citizen comments. Anybody want to speak tonight? Okay, come on. Albert? You were in the Navy?
No, I'm empty. How y'all doing?
I got you.
My name is Al Finn. I stay at 242 North Street. We have a wet bad water problem down there. Water just eats up on my side. Well, when Mr. Knight was in, he put the pipes in. They did the road. They took the pipes out. Pipe covered up. My uncle retired from the chalk mine. He said, when are they gonna do so? My mother-in-law, she on dialysis. She had to get up at 5:30 in the morning. No, I don't want to do nothing. And 5, 6, 7 years won't come do nothing. They pay taxes. What's the problem? They pay taxes.
What road are you on? I'm sorry.
I'm on 242 North Street, but the water just
Summer
flows out.
quarters.
It's running.
It's in my
bad.
district.
I took John down there,
Right.
showed him,
I've been
put a
down there.
pipe in. It's gonna wash the road away.
Is it the city or is it within the
It's the
city?
county.
It's in the county portion.
It's the county.
And
Okay,
that's
all right.
where I've talked about, we could have a crew cleaning ditches and spread it across the entire county. They would stay busy.
All right, well, we got one to add to the,
I couldn't hear it.
he's got some water issues and
Water and drainage issues.
water and drainage issues in the sawmill quarters, right?
That's right.
Okay.
What's
All
that
right.
address again?
It starts from 229, 231, 235 to 247.
Right.
When the water gets down there, it says run through everybody else. I mean, other day it rained like a hog.
Everywhere.
Well, we know we've got a lot of road work on, but this is,
But I know, I understand that.
all right, well, I appreciate it. I learned something. I thought the entire sawmill quarters was in the city.
No, sir.
No, part of it, in Fred turning now, every left, every right that you go on, that's the county.
Okay.
Top of the street, that's the city. When you get to the end, make a left, it fall back into the county.
Right.
Okay. All right, appreciate it.
Thank you.
We had someone else?
It's me again. Amen.
Welcome back.
I'm not sure, do I have a minute or 3 minutes?
You're fine.
Yes.
This is a
What-
public meeting, and that's what this is about.
Okay.
Y'all being able to be heard.
I'm Wilbur Green, pastor of the Masters Baptist Church. One of my instructors once said, burdens are not really bad things, and the only way to get rid of a burden is to get it off of you.
Sure.
There's a burden for me in the area where I pastor. And I left, I didn't get to the last, I didn't get anything, but I left it with a glimmer of hope. And I published that glimmer of hope. But now that glimmer of hope looked like it has been defeated. And I'm not sure why, and I want to give you your kudos on that we can do things. We can do things. Matter of fact, only 2 things were postponed. And we were able to come together on 2 things. We talked about need and emergency. Thank God for what she's on now. She talks about an emergency, a flood. That's every so now and then. I'm not saying that it was bad. I don't think anybody should have to, because everybody pay taxes. But there is a need, like she said, for fixed income people, older people, dialysis, people who are sick. Even since I've left and come back, people are telling me that their water is dingy, and so when they wash their clothes don't look white like my shirt. So therefore, they have washing machines in their house, and they have to go to the laundromat. The water pressure we talked about last time, and they're doing these things, and they said the only thing they can do is basically wash the dishes. And really they're afraid of that because in the commode the water is black sometimes. Sometimes great needs become emergency. And there is an emergency there in Bradley. Now, this is my thing. I understood, and please, I don't mind criticism. I don't mind you stop me and tell me where I'm wrong. I understand that we're not proceeding with this because went from 3,000 and something to 3 million to 5 million and something. I understand that, to 5 million and something. But when I left it, we had some money. Some money. Why would we crash or smash or not do anything, or at least get started? Because getting started is hope to the people in Bradley that they're not forgotten. And it feels that way. It feels that way. The reason why it feels that way, and I'm not taking anything from the flood, nor from Union Hill Baptist. I used to pastor Union Hill Baptist Church at Forsyth. That church is up the road, Shoal Creek Road, going to Round Oak from us. And I believe that bridge should be. But I also believe that your constituents, we didn't get together this weekend. We need to get together. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know how this thing works. I worked around politicians for 40 years as a senior programmer, and we know how it works. Stretch by bag, you stretch by. You know how it happens. We can help each other, and it'll show Bradley that they are a part of Jones County and not just in Jones County. So I would that you would reconsider however much money that we can. I mean, even if you could get there and come down for so many houses and then revisit to finish it later on, that would be a start, and not just crash it and just say that there is, I believe, that we can do anything that we can do. I believe it. I really do. Because if I ask how many of these districts have county water, I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand. I can guarantee that most of you have county water, but District 2 doesn't, to a certain degree. We doesn't. And I believe that this burden on me, because I have to go back and tell them something, because if I don't, guess what? I'll be back next meeting again for them, and they're going to be coming with me to let you know they care. Do we have to get a petition? What does it take? Let us know. What does it take? Will we have to get a petition? They pay taxes too. They pay taxes. There are things, I see work done in Jones County. There are some things that can hold just a minute, just for these people to be able to not be afraid to drink their water and take a bath in that water, and their clothes are not dingy I've seen it. It's not a pretty sight. So I'm not begging, I'm asking that you would reconsider and talk among yourselves. There's a way. I believe it is. I really do. Because we had some money. Even if we don't do it all right now, we can proceed and not stop this project.
There was no money. I know you said correct you if anything was incorrect.
Yes, right.
We were borrowing even the 2.9. There was no money, and finance said we don't have the money to even pay the 2.9 million. We had to borrow 2.9 to possibly get the $1 million grant. But so there's no money. I mean, there's not like a fund sitting there and we're just not using it.
I get that.
But the 2.9 from our engineers it's not going to satisfy anybody because it's simply not going to do the project. To do the project requires the full 5.9 million.
I get that. I do. I get that. But I
didn't want you to think there was some fund there that just wasn't being utilized.
I'm not bashing. I'm voicing an opinion.
Right.
But I did hear $5 million to do something.
Mm-hmm.
I heard money all night. I heard money all night.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like that. There's not money. There's something called, reappropriation.
We've got so many projects that were before all of our time that we're trying to
That
finish.
still aren't finished.
That's still not finished. And
Chairman, this is just one thing.
Hey, we're getting ready to have a work session just for this, a day-long work session. because this entire county has the same needs as Bradley's have.
Yeah.
And we need, this board, and we're calling it legacy, we're gonna set up a legacy of somehow Baldwin County did it, other counties have done it, we can do it. It takes time, but we're gonna come up with a plan that eventually everybody in this community is gonna have the same opportunity to have water and whatnot, but it's gonna take planning on this board to get it started and doing it correctly, knowing what we have, because the last thing we can do is sit there and start spending money we don't have, and that's the biggest problem.
I got you.
And like our engineer said, we cannot do Bradley but one way, and that's to full completion, because you won't, without not doing it complete, you won't have fire protection, you won't have water. It has to be done complete so that this board and Bradley have everything they need, because we can't halfway do it, because we won't have fire hydrants out there when we work. We can put them out there, but there won't be anything that works. There won't be any pressure. So we have to make a plan so that we can take the entire county and address it. Bradley, I'll be honest with you, Bradley's now on the water list, because for the last 7 years, I never had heard of a Bradley water list or a project until here recently. Didn't realize it was, I think, 2013. It was that you were on that board at the time, weren't you? And 2013 was the last time Bradley was ever discussed. And so we've got to come up with a plan that we can take these areas and furnish them their needs, just like everybody else that's got water. But we have to be smart about it.
This what I say. Highway 11 is the scenic bypass.
Mm-hmm.
That's big. Mm-hmm. That's big. My thing is this. We're saying we got to do this, but you're telling people who have been dealing with this for a long time, and they need some kind of, you know what I'm saying? You can't just say, well, we're going to do it, and then they go away. Because they'll say, well, when? How long? What is it about? We working on it. They kind of tired of that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not, like I said, I know you can't spend money. Like I said, I've been in budgets in these days. I know you can't spend money that you don't have, but I know that there's money that can't come in. What I'm saying is this: if they're hearing, no, not right now, it's when. You know what I'm saying? And that's a valid question. When? Because they're going to say, well, we're still paying taxes, Pastor. And they're saying when. And I know you can't, they don't understand that you can't give them a July the 5th, 2026. You can't do that. We understand that. But there has to be some way to encourage them and to let them know. I mean, if you have to call me just to talk to Brad or something, you need to. Because they need to know where they stand in this county. And I think that'll help the issue a little bit, may not solve it, but it'll help it a little bit. Because now that it's on the minds, and it's a burden on me because it's pressuring to me. Bishop really can't get around like he used to. But it's a pressure to me now. And it's not a bad burden, it's just, you just got to continue to talk about it and do it. That's it.
Well, I told Bucci, and I'm
Yeah.
sure Commissioner Wood will he and I, either one, won't have any problem sitting down and talking with your congregation or anything, just tell him where we're at and what we're trying to do for the Bradley community and all communities within this, within this county. And that's a big project this board's got right now, is to come up and find it from. And we've got a lot of hurdles right now. We've got so much started that was prior to this board.
I understand.
We got to get something finished. And the last meeting, we figured we got $6 million worth of projects that's been on the books for years and years. $6 million overage already. I mean, we've got to come up with an additional $6 million to finish what has been started for years. So you might have heard me ask Brandon about how much more expensive were these hydrants from the last time.
Yeah.
Well, over $3,000. Well, that's what we're dealing with every day.
Yes.
And it's a challenge for this board. How do we come up with this? Because the water department can't keep absorbing all this over just because it's just not there.
Right.
So we got to plan. We got to plan for the future and make a legacy of how we're going to get these counties to that point. When? I wish I could.
Well, yeah,
I'd sit there
but
praying
you know,
over him if I knew when.
my win was sarcastic.
Sure.
There's just nothing. There's no it will be now. It is just dropping on the floor. That's the thing.
You know, I look forward to this strategic planning day, and we need to prioritize the communities in need. There's other areas. I've had calls on Highway 22
Yeah.
out from Fox Creek. A gentleman called me, said, "Hey, we're having well troubles out here. We need," and he was thinking that there was water in Fox Creek, and I talked to Brandon, and he said, "No, that's all wells in that area." But there are other areas in the county, Bradley, Highway 22. Daylon's area is unfortunately blessed with areas that need water along 49. Those are all strategic planning items that we need to address, and the public is welcome to that meeting. It is open in public.
And we got a day-long work session coming up in May, isn't it correct? Is that
It was looking like June 3rd, but I think I'm gonna have to sit out some alternate dates.
Okay. All right. Well. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anytime they like to speak, Commissioner Wood and I both would be glad to sit down with them anytime.
Yeah.
And Bucci's got my personal cell phone number, so you can.
Yeah, I got y'all number too.
Oh, yeah. He got the one right here.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna be calling you. I would definitely call you.
I'll be
I've
glad
been a little
to.
busy. I got my suit on today, but I've been a little busy. But and we won't, like I said, but it can be done. Even getting on the list, you know, that $6 million list. You know what I'm saying? 2013, 50 years ago, the only thing we had was a road. 51 years is a road. That's a long time. You know, that's some things that cause Bradley that's the scenic bypass. 6-story land there, right by the church. So it is an important place, an important part of this county. Thank you. Amen.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else tonight? Commissioner Wood, you want to start us off on commissioner comments tonight?
Good meeting tonight, and have a lot of projects on the books, as we are well aware and the public's well aware of. And I appreciate our county employees taking care of the jobs that are presented at most inopportune times, as water leaks and road washouts and things such as that.
Commissioner Kitchen?
I don't have a lot, Chairman. Thank all the employees, the fire department, sheriff's department, public works, water department, all of them that worked during the storm last week. That was really tough on everybody. Something we hadn't seen in 30 years, so, 40 years. So just thank them for all their hard work during that rough time. And again, we have the May 20th is the community-wide cleanup. May 22nd for some of us, and the 20th for most of us. So, but no, just thank everybody for what they did.
Commissioner Vaughn, you want to go next?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
ma'am.
So I just want to give a shout out to Parks and Rec and getting all the ball fields ready. I know they're also in the process now of getting Church League up and going, and I saw that the Gray Berries Women League, which is free, which was phenomenal last year, had 8 women's team that just kind of merged together and joined and was no charge and had a great time. So I'm glad to see that we also got some adult things going on in our Parks and Rec. Pickleball is rolling really good right now. Y'all need to go play.
Are you challenged Commissioner Kitchens on pickleball?
I'm not challenging him no more because he won't fulfill it.
She can't get here long.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He don't want to beat him again.
All right. Is that it?
We in the mountains.
Have fun. Commissioner Martin?
For the ditches and water issues at 194 Ruby Drive, I had emailed this to Jason earlier this week as well, and she sent another compelling video that looks just like Whitaker Road. And most of that area, if you're going up Ruby Drive, from Joycliffe Road, when you get over the hill, almost all those homes on the right, that water off the hill floods everything. So please add 194 Ruby Drive and onward down to the list. Got a Hampton Lakes thing we need to talk about?
Yes.
I got him stopped.
You
Go
got
ahead. Sorry about for the interrupt.
You say what?
I got him.
You got him?
Yeah. I'm gonna chip over the old block, but that's all right.
Okay, you gonna fix that?
Talking about my dad.
Oh, all right,
He was. That's right. We got it.
okay.
All right, so I need some direction in how we want to go with this Hampton Lakes issue. Backstory on this: in June of 2021, the former department head met a septic company out on this property, and they paid for a sewer tap, or what they thought was a sewer tap, through the septic company, which was not a sewer. They paid this septic company for some work that was approved by the water department, because the former department head was on site, said, "Hey, I approve of doing this." They paid $2,400 to the septic company for some work that was not, I'm not going to say up to par, but it was incorrect. They thought they had a sewer system behind their house. It is in front of their house. So in the past, they thought they had already paid to be on county sewer. Come to find out, they are not. There's a lot of septic issues in that area that we're finding out about, and we're trying to get all the residents on the sewer system. So in the past, they have paid the septic company a total of $2,400. As myself and Miss Maggie with the health department approached them, about options to get on the sewer system, we offered them, because of this confusion in the past, that they wouldn't have to pay a sewer tap. We'd come out, do the sewer taps, $3,400. So I need direction on from the sewer tap to their house. Because of the confusion in the past, do we want to run from the house to our gravity line? Do we want to pay a contractor to do it? I don't know what y'all want us to do here.
And the reason why he's asking is because the former director gave the septic company direction to tap into the wrong location,
Correct.
and the people paid for that.
Yep. And I talked to the septic company, and they were paid to do the tap. They were paid to hook up the house to what was told to them that was a sewer. Now, the septic company said that the homeowner went to the water department and took care of the tap fees. But you haven't found any record
No,
of
we
any
have
tap
no
fees.
No.
That's the problem.
And they told you they didn't pay tap as well,
Yeah,
right?
the
They
tap-
just paid the
yeah,
septic.
but the tap fee is
I've
not
only
the
heard
issue.
this.
The connection, what they paid for was what the Jones County Water Department directed them to do, which was connect to the wrong place. In my opinion, and I'm not a legal person, but the cure is what they paid for based on what the Jones County, the former director told them to connect to, is what we should be responsible for, in my opinion, because if our director said, hey, tap into this line, and they pay somebody to tap into that line, they did what they were instructed to do. So that's my only interest personally, because I think that's where our liability could reside. I understand the offset, and I think that's probably reasonable. I just don't know that from talking to the septic person, there's a greater cost to make the newer connection, right?
Correct. At
So
about
that's the problem.
5,000 to 7,000.
Why?
That's just the verbal price that I was given. That's only one person verbal, really quick. This is what I was told.
Is there a
Don't
lift
know.
pump issue, or is there a lift pump cost, or is there a distance?
No, it's just a distance.
Don't they have to bore under the road too?
They'd have to bore up under a driveway. The tap that Jones County supplied them at no cost, we had to bore up under the road. So that's probably about a $4,000 job.
That's being done now.
being done currently. Should
So-
have been done
The
today.
tap's being done as we speak, or finished up, or already done, so the tap's done. It's just from her home to the
So-
tap.
Well,
And that's what they paid for, right? So
the
in their
tap really
mind-
should. Okay. So I've looked at this several weeks ago. The homeowner generally is responsible for both of those fees. So the homeowner in any other case would have been responsible for the $2,400 to the septic company, as well as our tap fee of $3,400. So the problem is, if to make the homeowner whole, to fix a problem that potentially was created by a county employee previously, an error, then we have to correct what was paid for that was in error, performed in error. If we're going to address that and repair that, we don't also give them credit for the tap fee. They're not out that money. They never paid that money. So to be made whole, we would have a company, and I'd send it out to bid, because that's higher than
I understand.
anybody else's,
I understand.
than what you typically hear of.
And I don't know. I have never personally priced that. So that,
Right.
again, that was just a verbal. It's about what it's
But
going
the
to
county would pay for the work that was erroneously done, that was previously paid for. But the tap fee should still be paid for by this homeowner, because they would have had to pay for it anyway, and it's never been paid for.
So they don't have any record of them ever paying the tap fee?
We do not, nor do they get a sewer bill.
Yeah, they've never
So-
received a sewer bill, and they don't have any proof. The only proof the homeowner has is of the $2,400 paid to the.
So, I mean, if they pay for a tap fee, they would have a record of tap fees, so.
Right, that tap fee has never been paid for.
Burden
Okay.
proof's on
So
them.
the county that would sort of violate the gratuities clause, because all the county should bear the burden of is making the homeowner whole, which is correcting the error, the work that was paid for, that we connected to the wrong pipe.
Right.
We can't pay for that and pay or waive their tap fee,
All right. That makes
because it was
sense
never
now.
paid for to start with.
It makes sense now that, unless they have a record of a tap fee,
And
they
there's
still
not.
owe it.
The homeowner doesn't have it, we don't have it, and they've never received a sewer bill. It was not paid.
Because if there was never tapped into a real sewer line, then there would have been no tap fee or no sewer bill.
That's
because
right.
It's not on our system.
That's right.
Right.
And I agree with Ashley. That's what I advocated for initially.
Whatever
What is-
that was.
Whatever that was. What is curious, though, is they were authorized to tap into a line. So I'm curious, who authorized? We know who authorized them
Right.
to tap into the line, and he authorized them to tap without paying, which is a whole nother issue. Or he took a payment and never recorded it.
But the homeowner doesn't have.
I understand,
Right,
but
right.
that's just a whole nother thing that
Yeah.
we need to address the check and balance on that part too.
Right.
That authorizes that, and so we do get compensated for it.
Right.
So yes, I agree.
So my opinion legally would be send the work out to bid, because that seems astronomical compared to what you told me that typically costs.
And I don't know.
Can we
when you're-
rephrase the bid? Can you get 3 quotes? Because
Yeah, that's
okay,
fine.
all right.
Yeah, I'll get the quotes. That's no problem.
Yeah.
And I don't know if when you decommission a septic tank, you have to dig up the septic tank, pump it out, fill it back in, decommission their lines. So I don't know if that's included, but from my understanding, that's what.
But that's not the
what-
county's responsibilities to
correct.
decommission
Well, that's
everybody's
I
septic
think that's why
tank.
it's so high. The-
Okay, well, yeah.
My first verbal quote is
We need
so
to be
high.
very clear with them what the county's responsibility is,
So is that what you're
what the
asking
county
me?
is paying for, and what the county is not responsible for.
So are you asking me to get
Quotes to run that line
Okay.
only, not to decommission a septic tank. That's
Septic's
not,
not there anymore. Think about that. The septic's not there.
I don't believe the septic tank. I believe
No,
that's
it
what
was-
they paid for right here was getting their septic tank decommissioned.
It's all been done. I know, I can
Yeah.
confirm that.
Yeah, so that's been
The
done.
septic was pumped, it was filled, they had an A2U unit.
Yep.
It was destroyed, but it had to be filled, so they couldn't take it out and remove it, but they had to, decommission it. So that 2,400's everything from their house to that, what they thought was a sewer line.
Right.
So right now.
And that's the only part that the county would pay to have correctly
So,
done.
to make
But
it,
the homeowner needs to understand, if we pay for that, they're responsible for the tap fee, like anybody else would be.
can we make it simple enough from the house to the tap? We will make them whole, because that's what they sent wrong.
Yes.
If they show proof that they paid a tap fee, then we'll tap it for free. If there's no proof that they had a tap fee, then they're just like anybody else, they pay a tap fee. And I think we need to do whatever's right, because we acknowledge that we told them tap in here, and they shouldn't have tapped in there. So whatever it was to tap in here, swing that around to tap into where it's supposed to be.
I mean, it's a simple fix. I mean, if they pay for it, they got, if they haven't, well, they still owe that, so.
Yep, I agree. Can we also, and I don't know why there was a disconnect, not just with them, but with the neighbor, that people don't understand that you have to pay a tap fee plus the connection to the tap fee. So I don't know if we need to update the policy, we need to post that somewhere so people understand that. Because there's going to be more people that are going to want to do this. And if they talk to their neighbor, they're going to have a whole kind of misconstrued conception of how this works. So publicize the policy, articulate it, put it on the website so people know that, hey, you got a tap fee, that goes to us, and then your connection goes to your plumber or whoever.
Yeah, you're responsible for tying into the tap.
Yep.
From your house. Because, I think it'd be clearest thing to say, once you get off the right of way, that's private property, we can't do it.
Yep.
Any way you look at it.
So, just for clarification,
From the house to the tap.
You're getting quotes from the house to the
To the
tap,
tap,
and
okay.
then the homeowner's responsible for the tap fee.
Unless they can show proof that they.
Unless now, after all this
So-
time, they haven't had proof, but if they have proof,
so they now have to pay the $3,400, and we will get 3 prices, and potentially, or we will pay for from the tap to the house.
Correct.
well, I think you need to get your 3 quotes and
Right.
let them.
No, that's fine.
And actually, they need to approve it, so it needs to go on the next agenda.
Okay.
But that would be my legal
Okay.
opinion to the board.
Okay.
And things show us where we paid it, where they paid it, well, guess what,
Okay.
it's fixed.
Appreciate it.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. John, you got anything? Jason?
Nothing.
Wow. Before we adjourn, next meeting, I'd love to have an opportunity, and we've kind of got that day work session booked. We've got a 5:30 with Greg Boykin. We've got, if y'all would like to join me, I've got a 5 o'clock with the Boy Scouts, and maybe we can, all 5 of us can team up with all these questions they asked me for their badges. But I would love, and I'd love to have it tonight, but I got grandparents camp this week, and I need to get home before my wife breaks my neck. We got 4 grandyoungers up there waiting on Grandbubba. But next meeting, I'd love this board to have an opportunity to sit down and look for a way that the city and county can come together on water rates, so we can make a win-win for both sides and come up with, see if there's an opportunity.
Are we meeting with the Boy Scouts first?
Yeah, he lost me on that. I thought it was
Before
going
that, yeah, okay, let's get back to 4:30.
4:30 is with the city.
All right, no, 4:30, be talking about the water rates. I think the board needs to get with, let me ask Jason, can we have a water rate?
Yeah, just a discussion, it would be an open meeting for whoever.
Right,
comes.
for a
Just-
work
just for
session.
this board and then do a joint.
I don't mean to be
thing.
talking around, I just know I got a wife at home with 4 grandbabies, and they're wearing her out, right?
4:30 with the city, and then what time is the Boy Scout?
5.
5.
Same location.
And then
Same right here.
5:30 is Greg.
All right.
All right,
We'll be here.
so we'll really treat the Boy Scouts with just, instead of just a chairman, we got the whole board here that can answer all these questions.
Okay.
If you get the Cub Scouts, they're gonna wanna know what time, when they're gonna have cookies and refreshments. I've been
So,
there, done that.
are we having refreshments?
I was gonna say, if y'all bring like ice cream or something in, you got to include.
But I
a
think
whole
it'd be a
lot of
treat
us.
to the Boy Scouts when they got the whole, since we're already here, the whole board can be here and answer their questions.
I might wear
It's
my
their merit
Cub
badges
Scouts
we're
outfit.
working on, isn't it?
Please
What
do.
do you think? And they're gonna open up the meeting with the invocation of the pledge too.
Oh, that's
Okay,
cute.
sounds good.
How's that?
Let's get it.
So if y'all can bear an hour and a half prior to meeting, that maybe we can have a smile on everybody's face when we get through.
Let's do it.
All right, I didn't confuse you too much, did I?
No, we're clear now.
Oh, good.
As long as you should.
All right. Commissioner Bone, you still there? Uh-oh. Mr. Wood, you want to help us tonight?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
You can talk now, Pop.